On 17 February 1978, a British Army Gazelle helicopter, serial number XX404, went down near Jonesborough, County Armagh, Northern Ireland, after being fired at by a Provisional IRA unit from the South Armagh Brigade. The IRA unit was involved in a gun battle with a Green Jackets observation post deployed in the area, and the helicopter was sent in to support the ground troops. The helicopter crashed after the pilot lost control of the aircraft whilst evading ground fire. Lieutenant-Colonel Ian Douglas Corden-Lloyd, 2nd Battalion Green Jackets commanding officer, died in the crash. The incident was overshadowed by the Le Mans restaurant bombing, which took place just hours later near Belfast. Background: by early 1978, the British Army forces involved in Operation Banner had recently replaced their aging Bell H-13 SU helicopters for the more versatile aerospatial Gazelles. The introduction of the new machines increased the area covered on a reconnaissance sortie as well as the improved time spent in airborne missions. In the same period, the Provisional IRA received its first consignment of M60 machine guns from the Middle East, which were displayed by masked volunteers during a Bloody Sunday commemoration in Derry. Airborne operations were crucial for the British presence along the border, especially in South County Armagh, where the level of IRA activity meant that every supply and soldier had to be ferried in and out of the bases by helicopter since 1975. The Royal Green Jackets had been in South Armagh since December 1977 and had already seen some action. Just a few days after arrival, 2 mortar rounds hit the C Company base at Forkhill, injuring a number of soldiers. In the aftermath of the attack, 2 Royal Ulster Constabulary officers were wounded while recovering the lorry where the mortar tubes were mounted. 2 days later, a patrol near the border suffered a bomb and gun attack, leaving the commanding sergeant with severe head wounds. The sergeant was picked up from the scene by helicopter. He was later invalided from the British Army as a result of his injuries. Shooting and crash. On 17 January 1978, a Green Jackets observation post deployed around the village of Jonesborough began to take heavy fire from the March Wall, which drew parallel with the Irish border to the east along the Dromid Woods. The soldiers returned fire, but the short distance to the border and the open ground prevented them from advancing. The commanding officer, Lieutenant-Colonel Ian Corden-Lloyd, along with Captain Philip Schofield and Sergeant Ives, flew from the battalion base at Brick Mill to assess the situation and provide information to the troops. While hovering over the scene of the engagement, the pilot lost control of the aircraft during a turn at high speed to avoid the ground fire. The Gazelle hit a wall and crashed on a field, some 2 kilometers from Jonesborough. Corden-Lloyd was killed and the other 2 passengers were wounded. The machine came to rest on its right side. The pilot remained trapped inside the wreckage, but he survived thanks to his helmet. The IRA claimed they had shot at the helicopter with an M60 machine gun. The IRA unit vanished into the Dromid Woods to the Republic of Ireland. Some Gardaí witnessed the attack from the other side of the border. Aftermath. The gun battle and Gazelle shootdown was displaced from the headlines by the deaths of 12 civilians in the Le Mans restaurant bombing on the same day, some of whom were burned to death. Initially, the British Army downplayed the IRA's claim as published by Infoblacked that the helicopter was shot down, on the basis that no hits were found on the wreckage, but finally they acknowledged that the IRA action had caused the crash. The death of Corden-Lloyd, a former Special Air Service officer, was deeply regretted by the British Army, who regarded him as promising. He was awarded a posthumous mention in dispatches, in recognition of gallant and distinguished service in Northern Ireland. In 1973, Irish Republicans had accused Corden-Lloyd and his subordinates of brutality against Belfast Catholics during an earlier tour of the Green Jackets. In 1971, at the time of Operation Demetrius,